And the Arms Deal Commission obviously showed that the government was not at fault, and it's a perfectly good deal.
Yeah.
You didn't participate in that inquiry on purpose, and you probably don't see that inquiry as being very valid. Am I correct?
Well, we did participate initially. I mean, my colleague Paul Holden and I sent the Commission a 200,000 word submission, dozens and dozens of evidentiary documents about the corruption. The Commission lost the first disc of documents we sent them, so we resent it. And I helped them set up meetings internationally and various other things. We became extremely disappointed, first of all, when senior people on the Commission started to resign, saying that the Commission had a double agenda of wanting to whitewash the deal and focus more on criticizing the critics of the deal. Then when the Commission started to cross-examine people, first it saw all the government people who said there was nothing wrong with the deal, and nobody asked them any questions. So we had to start cross-examining witnesses to the Commission. And when it came to, for instance, former President Thabo Mbeki, who chaired the ministerial committee that made all of the decisions on our arms deal, and he said there's no ways there could have been any corruption. And then our lawyers started presenting him with documents from the US Department of Justice in a settlement with BAE Systems, in which the company admitted to paying unauthorized commissions, what normal human beings understand as bribes, on 7 deals around the world, including the South African deal. When we produced internal minutes from a German company of whom Chippy Sheikh had asked for a $3 million bribe and the company decided to pay it. When we produced a report from another German company that identified $40 million of bribes paid on the South African deal by this company. And Mbeki had claimed never to have heard of any of these documents. But more alarmingly, the judge chairing the Commission of Inquiry claimed never to have heard of or seen these documents. And our lawyers had to remind him that we'd sent these documents to his commission not once, but twice. At that point, we got completely alarmed and realized that by continuing to participate, we were simply giving credibility to a process that no longer had any.
So, I mean, will any justice occur in the South African arms deal?
Ultimately, it will. The reality of the arms trade globally, as we reflect in the film, is that often these people act with impunity. But in the case of the South African arms deal, it's been over 15 years since we first started investigating it in Parliament when I was an ANC MP. And it still remains alive as a political issue in this country. In India, there's another very notorious deal, not dissimilar to ours, that was signed in the 1980s. And new information comes out about it, new charges are laid about it. So we remain absolutely determined to continue to expose the reality of our arms deal. And one of the things we're doing with the film of Shadow World is our intention is later in the year to take it around to the townships of South Africa and show people how our deal occurred within this global context and talk to them about our deal and its current manifestations. So the nuclear deal that the government is currently negotiating, that the president seems to have been in direct talks with his Russian counterpart about, is going to make our arms deal seem like small change. And it's crucially important that South African citizens and South African taxpayers, who money after all pays for all of these deals, demands that our government behaves transparently in negotiating this nuclear deal and that it remains accountable to the people who are footing the bill.
You speak about townships. You've already shown the film in Alexandra Township in Joburg and Khayelitsha in Cape Town tonight. What was the reaction like from those viewers?
It was phenomenal. I mean, for me, we did a screening in Langa, we did a screening in Alex, and now tonight we have a final screening in Khayelitsha. And those have been by far the most exciting screenings for me. You know, when you produce a film in the US with a Belgian director who's a visual artist by background, you do worry whether it's going to have an impact with, say, non-festival audiences, which is where we've shown it in the States and here. And people were absolutely gripped by it in all of those. But even more exciting than that is the discussion and conversation it generated after the screening. In Langa, we went on for hours. And it's that makes me feel that this whole process of 4.5 years of making this film has been worthwhile. And that's what motivates us to want to take it to as many townships across the country as possible.